Hi guys. There is an echo. Hi guys. Welcome to the Get It Done podcast. The podcast where I talk to business owners about their business, allowing them to share their business, to share their business story. But most importantly, my hopes, my prayers for the podcast is that someone that is scared to do the thing, that has an idea to do a thing, but for whatever reason is scared to do it. So hopefully they can see, they can hear something that we've said, and inspire them to go out and do the thing, and to get it done no matter what it takes. So basically, I talk to business owners. Most likely, these are people that I've never met, stories that I've never heard before. They do fill out a like an application process. So I do read that then, but then by the time they schedule and all that, I don't know who they are. So I am talking to basically strangers about what it is they're doing, how they got to where they are. And I'm having a lot of fun. So this is episode number 26, I believe. I'm super excited about what's going on and what's to come as well. So I'll go ahead and add her name is Sandra to the stage so we can. She has going. Hi.
Hi, Erin.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. It looks so nice and sunny where you are.
It's so nice and sunny where I am. Where are you located?
I'm in Vancouver, Canada. So it's cloudy here. We had a big rainstorm last night, but we're supposed to get some sun this weekend. So there's nice. A light coming.
So we're going to switch off because it's supposed to rain here this weekend. But yes, I'm in LA and it is nice and it's a beautiful day today.
Love LA. That's great.
Me too. I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself and let us know about your business and what you have going on.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. I love the honesty, first of all. You do your background research as much as you can. And by the time today happens, you've forgotten who we are. And that's totally cool. So I'm Sandra Nomoto. As I said, I'm from Vancouver, Canada. And I don't have a company name. I'm a solopreneur. So I operate as an ethical marketer and a book whisperer. So that really means that I help ethical six-figure vegan businesses with marketing. So that usually means written content, publicity. I do some consulting. And then the book whisperer part is my services for authors. So I'm a 2-time author myself. And I can help authors with pretty much anything to do with creating a book, except for cover design. That's the one thing that I don't do. I work a lot with words in my work. I am not a designer. So I can't help you with your cover, but I can help you with everything inside of a book as well as marketing.
Nice. I love that. How'd you get started?
So I had a previous business that I ran for just over 10 years. It was a public relations agency that I closed in 2018. And that was the same year that I went vegan, which was a personal goal of mine for many years. And then for about a year and a half, I was sort of just freelancing, exploring different career options. I didn't think I was going to stay in marketing. And then I sat down to meditate at the end of 2019, and my intuition just gave me this really strong message and said, you're vegan now and you'll always be writing. So put those two things together and go. And I went, okay. I know enough times when I ignore my intuition, it just comes back to me years later. So I followed it right away. And so right at the start of 2020, I threw up a service page on my personal website. So this is still the website that I use now, sandranomoto.com, and started tapping into my network and saying, hey, who do you know who runs a vegan business that needs help with their written content? So that's how I started in 2020 as a copywriter. And then that's since expanded into other marketing related services. And because of the pandemic, I had more time on my hands. I've always been interested in books and book publishing. And books are the longest piece of content that you can possibly work on. So I started taking courses in book editing and formatting. And so that's where I got the experience in working with authors. And that's since expanded into other services as well.
I love that. So going back to you being vegan, how was that transition for you?
It was a long transition because it started at the end of 2007 when I saw the documentary Earthlings. that impacted me very deeply. That was the first time I had ever seen how we turn animals into food. And it covers other industries as well. But that was just the most impactful thing that I had seen. And so over a number of years, I eliminated meat from my diet. And then for a good number of years, I was still eating some seafood, eggs, and dairy. During the week, I learned to cook either vegan or vegetarian meals. And then I was only vegetarian for about a year. So I gave up seafood in 2017. And then from there, really, dairy was the only thing that I was still eating that was an animal product. And I actually gave that up for health reasons because I'd had a digestive condition that was undiagnosed by my health team for many, many years and just could never get to the bottom of it. And finally, I went to my naturopath in 2018 and she said, let's try a food sensitivity test. I did this test and found out I was sensitive to dairy, which I later learned most people of color are. And and so I went on a 4-month cleanse, removed dairy, and came to the end of that 4 months and thought, hey, I always wanted to be vegan, and I was able to do without dairy for 4 months. So I think I can do without it now for the rest of my life. So for me, it took 11 years, but with all of the alternatives that are out today, I think that if you wanted to go vegan, you could do it much faster. You could probably do it in a year.
Yeah.
I know, we're all on our own journeys. So no pressure.
Looking back, like over the time, how has it changed you?
Oh, being vegan? I mean, countless ways. I mean, yeah, first of all, it was a personal goal, right? So I knew this was something that I wanted to work towards. It took me a very long time. But when I got there, it was sort of like I was in this inner circle all of a sudden, where a lot of people aspire to be vegan, but maybe like yourself, they just haven't worked towards it or they haven't reached that goal. And so that just brought me into a community of people worldwide, actually. Once I started my second business, one of the first things I did was I tapped into all of the vegan business networks. So you and I actually connected through Vegpreneur, which is one of these business networks where there's a lot of vegan companies. And I learned like, wow, there's this whole global network of vegans, which made me feel really cool. Because as a vegan, you can feel really alone sometimes. Like you might be the only vegan in your friend group or in your family. But when you realize there's so many other people, maybe in your own city where you live, but also around the world, you don't feel so alone. So from a social standpoint, it really helped. From an emotional and mental health standpoint, I would say like there weren't any huge changes, but I feel I feel like I don't need to go to therapy because most of the time, like I meditate, I take pretty good care of myself. And then also from a physical standpoint, I know that I'm not ingesting dead animals. And so that's,
that sounds so nasty.
I know when you phrase it that way, right? Because that's what our food really is. And that's why people call it beef and pork. And we name foods these things because we don't really want to call it what it is. And so I try and exercise and get good sleep. And so physical health is really important to me. But again, from a business standpoint, this has really changed my career. So as I mentioned in the beginning, I launched, I've published 2 books. The second book that I published at the end of 2022 is called Vegan Marketing Success Stories. So it's the first and only vegan marketing book out there in the world. And that really catapulted me once again, in the vegan world. Like I was an unknown in the vegan world prior to putting out this book. And because I put out this book, I just got a lot more speaking opportunities. I've appeared in
Vegan Marketing Success Stories. Tell me about this book.
Yeah, I mean, it all started when I had an intuitive reading for my birthday in 2021. And the reader said, your spirit guides are telling you you're going to publish a second book. And I went, what? Okay. So I just kept thinking about what could I possibly write, for my second book. I don't write fiction, so that's completely out. So nonfiction is really where I specialize in. And I thought about just being vegan and my interest in marketing. And so I hit Google that summer, and nobody had written a book like this. And also there was only one other vegan book out there that talked about the business world, and that was Vegan Ventures, and that was published in 2015. So I just thought to myself, like, what an underserved market. So I've got to publish this book. And this is a contributor-led book. So what I did was I invited almost 300 companies to submit their marketing stories and tell me what marketing tactics you use to grow your company, or what creates your company success.
So,
and so out of those
vegan-based companies, is that what it
vegan
is?
companies, yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So out of that, all of that outreach, I got back 47 stories. And then I got another few dozen examples that I found online, and I got permission to use. So in total, there's like close to 100 vegan companies that are mentioned in the book and that talk about the marketing tactics that they use.
Nice. I love that.
Thank you.
So it's so funny that we're on marketing. I have a marketing degree, which is sitting on the floor of my closet in an old purse that I've looked at probably like 3 times. It's so funny. What are you excited about in this season, concerning going back to business, concerning your business?
Wow. Well, one of my big goals last year was to ghostwrite a book. I really wanted to get into that space. And I've now ghostwritten my second book. And I just absolutely love that process, because the author has the idea. Maybe they don't have time to sit at a laptop and type out their story or whatever expertise they have. And so we hop on Zoom, and I really help to put that manuscript together. So that's something I'm super excited about and would love to continue doing. I don't only work with vegan authors. My ideal clients are authors with impact. So as long as you've got a story that is meant to positively impact people, I'd love to work with you. And in terms of something that I'm, I guess, thinking about, not really.
Wait, before we go to that, sorry.
Yeah.
Explain to me what so is ghostwriting, you're just writing the person's work? And does it have to be mentioned that the work of art or whatever it is ghostwritten? Like, do they have to? Oh, okay.
No, well, good question. So I'll answer the second one first. No, I don't need any credit as a ghostwriter. That's why it's, I don't know, they use the term ghost.
So they don't have to mention that someone else wrote it.
No, it's different from co-authoring. So that's very common with celebrities. So celebrities will usually have somebody else help and co-write the book with them. And so they get credited as a co-author. Ghostwriting is different. It's like I'm helping you put the book to life, and then your name is on it. So
as if they wrote it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And really, like I said, we hop on Zoom. So that's the foundation of the book.
Yeah. It's their thoughts. You just.
Exactly. Like if the author doesn't want to change anything, they want it 100% purely their voice, then that's what's going to appear on the page. But with this last author that I recently worked with, she wanted to change the style of her story quite drastically. So, so it actually almost took the same amount of time it took to record all of our sessions to rewrite the entire story in a different way than she said it. So it really depends on the amount of changes the author wants me as a ghostwriter to make.
Okay. That answered it. And then I cut you off. You were talking about what you're excited about. I'm sorry.
No, yeah. Something that I was going to say that I'm not super excited about, but is very much in my mind is AI. So I've noticed that a lot less people are coming to me asking for writing help than a few years ago because of AI. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think AI is a great tool to help, especially folks who are not great at writing, to help them create content. However, if you're using it to like write a book verbatim without changing anything or research, you just have to be aware that AI is a tool. It's not necessarily factual, right?
Right.
It's grabbing everything from the internet. And so just be aware of how you use it. Or again, if you want to work with a writer and say, hey, I really like how AI does this. Can we work together? And I don't mind if you use AI, to change maybe the way that I would write somebody
certain
else's content.
tips.
So yeah, so that's something that I've been thinking a lot about is AI, because it really is disrupting the world of what used to be human writers.
Yes. So when you are looking, so who's your ideal client?
So on the business side, it's again growing vegan businesses. So they don't need to have to be vegan owned, so long as the business is not harming animals, people, or planet in any major way. And then on the author side, authors with impact. So so as long as you've got a great story that you want to share or expertise that you want to share that impacts people in a positive way, that's an ideal client for me on the book side.
Nice. And how do you find your clients? Is it basically
A
word of
few different,
mouth?
yeah, a few different ways. So about half of my clients come to me from referrals. So it's either a past client or a client that I've worked with, or just people who know me through my network. About a third are following me on social media. So that's usually Instagram, LinkedIn, or a Facebook group that I'm following. And then another handful, usually authors, will find me just from my website online. And that's why I really love blogging. I blog every week, just to make
Nice.
sure that my site is always getting updated. And then, yeah, very, very few are cold, or like, people have met me for the first time and hire me on the spot. But yeah.
Nice. You mentioned social media. How important do you think social media is to building, running, maintaining a business?
I think it's one of the core foundational pieces of your marketing. You don't need to be on all the social networks. I would say maybe use 2 or 3. Especially if you run a business, you should be on LinkedIn. That's where all the business professionals hang out. And then I usually recommend 1 or 2 other visual networks. So whether that's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, because people need to be able to see your product, or your service in action, or your face, so that they know, they get to know you a little bit. So that's what I would recommend for social media, and just be consistent with it. I, I always laugh when people haven't posted in like 6 months. It's like, are you even still open? You know what I mean? Like,
No.
even if it's once a week and that's all you can manage,
Yep.
just make sure that you're posting consistently, and you're sharing your journey with your audience. You're engaging with them. It's just the foundational way of building your audience and building your business.
You have a good podcasting voice. When are you starting your podcast?
Oh, thank you. I've been on a lot of podcasts in the last year and a bit promoting my book.
Nice.
I don't run a podcast, but I am actually the co-host of Canada's only vegan networking group. So it's called Veg Networking Canada, and I actually don't speak. I'm more of a producer, so I'm the person behind the scenes who brings in all of the vegan members, or we bring on special guests. We interview them. They don't need to be vegan so long as they work for a plant-based company. And then we throw all these interviews up on YouTube so anybody can watch them. So we're at Veg Networking Canada. And that's really the closest thing that I have to a podcast. So I'm like a podcast producer. And then my colleague, Justin, handles all of the interview parts, so I don't have to.
Nice. I have to check them out. I am a plant-based esthetician, so I have to see what you guys have
Amazing.
going on over there.
Yeah, please follow us. Yeah, we just love to spread the idea that vegan business is very normal, and and especially here in Canada, where we don't have a huge number of vegans. I don't think, although our percentage, I think, is better than the U.S. We just want to share our journeys there.
Cool. What are you grateful for today?
Ooh. I'm grateful for my community. So just before hopping on here, we had another meeting at Veg Networking Canada, met another great entrepreneur who's got a really cool plant-based meat company out of soy. Her products are made out of soy. And I'm grateful to meet you today and learn a little bit about your business.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you. In business, a lot of times people are just scared. Is there anything that you are scared of when it comes to business? Do you have any fear?
Oh yeah, my biggest fear is just, nobody hires me, I don't make any money, and I have to close.
Really?
And actually I'm grateful for my previous journey because I did have to close my agency, and I'm actually glad that I did. I closed it at a good time. And really, you've got to learn that you are not your business. So when I closed my first business, I thought I was an absolute failure and everybody was going to see this huge F on my forehead, and really, like, nobody cares. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
They don't
Like,
even know.
yeah, they go, oh, and people are even saying congratulations on, on whatever your next
Moving on
journey is
next.
going to be. Exactly. And it's
Yep.
it's really all about mindset. I forgot what your question was.
Um, what did I say? I said, about being basically having a fear when it comes to business.
Yeah. So again, because I had closed my previous business and I realized it's not so bad. Yeah, I'm not afraid of it now. And I've actually, all of the lessons that I had in my first business, I've implemented into this one. And yeah, and I'm just learning every day. Like, you've got to, yeah, just kind of roll with the times, because things are always changing, and always have an open mind and be willing to pivot, because you're going
I
to need
agree.
to.
Yes. I used to have a clothing store, and I had always wanted a clothing store. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad I did it. But I was scared to quit my job because I was still working full time. When I started, I had 3 jobs. When I opened the store, I still had my 2 jobs. But just the fear of like letting go of the job and fully diving into business was just super scary for me. So long story short, the store closed. But the lessons that I learned, like, they all pour into me doing what I'm doing today. So yes, I agree. I take that with me, and I'm grateful for that time. So the point of, I'm sure you've seen the intro, but the reasoning for me doing the podcast is because what I do for work, I get to talk to all these different people. And a lot of times our conversation somehow ends up one way or another getting to business. People have all these different ideas of things that they want to do, but they're just scared to do them for whatever reason. So the idea for the podcast is just to inspire somebody that just is scared to do the thing. So what would you say to her or him that is wants to do it, but they're just scared to do it? Any advice for
Mm-hmm.
them?
Yeah. The first thing I'll say is that humans are creatives. We like, it's in our DNA to create.
We were
And so that
created to create.
we were created to create. Absolutely. And
Yes.
so that inkling that you have is so natural. You know what I mean? I mentioned intuition. Like, my intuitions guided me throughout my whole career. And had I known everything that it would take to run a business before I started, I would have been scared off and been like, no, no, no way. But, once you make that leap, you realize, wow, like, this is the path that I need to be on. Or maybe you find out this is not for me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But you need to take that leap and try it. And I'm not saying quit your full-time job and just start making products or whatever it is. There's a way you can just try things out. There's nothing wrong with having it as your side hustle while you work full time and just trying it out. That's how a lot of entrepreneurs start, is you need to test out the market, and the market will tell you whether they want this in the world or not. It's a great thing to be able to have a side hustle. And then once you realize, okay, I'm onto something, and now this baby needs more time and resources, that's when you can maybe divide more of your time and make that transition easier. So yeah, I mean, there's no better way to start than just start. And you'll never know if if it'll work or not until you try it.
Yes. Is there one thing that you can say that you are absolutely unbeatable at?
Ooh. I guess I'm sort of this right now. I'm this like multi-passionate solopreneur. Like, I think I'm one of the few people who've been able to integrate veganism and then my work with marketing and books and writing, and kind of like that is my world right now. Like, there are a lot of vegans that do marketing, whether they're graphic designers or branding and or building websites, but for whatever reason, I think I've been able to just combine those worlds of writing and books and veganism. And so I guess that's what I would call my superpower.
What did you want to do when you were a little girl? Like, are you surprised at the woman that you are today, or no?
You know what? Yes and no. So when I was young, I was never this person who was like, I want to be that. When I was growing up, right through till college, I was like, I kind of want to be everything. I'm fascinated about all careers, even if it's just a little bit, right? So, and I see that in my work now. Like when I find out I'm into something, then I'll get into it, right? And so that kind of makes sense. But yeah, because I didn't have a clear path, I've sort of just organically figured stuff out. So I went from having like an English literature and film studies degree to getting my very first job in public relations. And then that led me to starting my own agency. And then that has led to starting this business. So everything has been pretty organic, even though when I was young, I didn't have a desired career path.
Nice. Are you originally from Canada or?
Yeah, I was born in Montreal. My parents immigrated there from the Philippines. So my sister and I were born in Montreal, and then we moved to the West Coast in Vancouver right after I was born. A lot less severe weather over here than out east.
Nice. How do you believe in, or do you think it is work-life balance? What is your view on that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's ever possible to get a 50-50 balance, especially when you run a business. But I think it's super important to take care of yourself and have a personal life outside of your business, no matter what that looks like. Because I think you need, again, like I said, running a business is an act of creativity. You're always creating, even if you're not working on your business, you're always thinking about your business sometimes and
it doesn't go
ideas.
Away.
Yeah, it never really goes away. So, but it's important, I think, to tune off at some points of the day or the week or the month, whatever it may be for you. And just, maybe have a notes app on your phone where you can jot ideas down and look at them later. But yeah, I think that off time is really important because you need you need to be able to recharge. So that you can then tackle the week ahead or whatever it may be. So I think, I don't think it's a 50-50, but I think it's really important that you figure out what that balance looks like for you.
Yes. Is there anything that you want to do in business, but you just haven't done it yet?
Yes. So people have asked me, are you going to work on a third book? And my intuition is really telling me, because I do have this film studies degree, and I also used to volunteer for the Vancouver Short Film Festival quite a bit. I really want to get into documentaries.
Nice.
Like that's what my intuition is telling me right now. I don't have a boatload of money to get started, but I have a lot of ideas. And especially in the because I'm vegan, and there's a lot of content that we need to share to be able to just tell people what happens to animals in various industries. I'd love to just get started, whether that's a short documentary or a feature. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm itching to do right now, is to just get some experience in making a movie instead of a book for a change.
So you said something about not having a lot of money, and a lot of times people's biggest thing is, well, I don't have a lot of money, or I don't have money to do it. What would you say to that person that is thinking that you have to have money to do all these things?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you have to figure out how much do you need. Because if you're a service-based business like me, like you're a writer, all you need is a laptop and an internet connection. You really don't need any startup funds, right? Depending on your business, if you're creating a whole new product, you might need some seed money, right? So there's various ways to go about it. You can ask family and friends. You can ask your bank for a loan. You can look into government grants. Usually, I mean, there's various requirements, right? But usually in Canada, you have to have an existing business to then apply for the grant. So again, it really depends. You can find investors and have an investor, provide the seed money you need. But yeah, I think,
or you can sell something. People have stuff like laying around their house
100%.
all the time.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Everything is not my thing is there's a way to do everything. Like, I don't even want to get into it because I'll go on and on and on. What have you learned from failure?
Ooh,
Greatest lesson from failure, I would say.
yeah, well, I think I alluded to it a little bit, is the ultimate failure for me, or at least at the time, what I thought was shutting my business down was a failure. And you, again, it's only one part of your life, you know what I mean? And your business is not your life. So I that really taught me to reframe, like, what is business, or like, what am I here to do? Right? Like, that could be in a job, you know, I can serve the world positively in a job. If yeah, it just so happened that I don't right now, um, but yeah, every failure has lessons, and I think that's where the nuggets are. It's what have you learned from that part of your journey, that you know, failed at, that you're now using in whatever you're doing now, whether that's career, business, personal life, even. Yeah, I just think we're so hard on that word failure, when all it means is
It
something
didn't work
didn't
out.
work. And yeah, and and you have to be able to use whatever you've learned in this next journey.
I agree. What motivates you in those times? Like, in times where things don't work out, what keeps you going? What inspires you to keep doing the thing?
Yeah, great question. I mean, yeah, as I said, I'm into self-care and wellness a lot. So I think, luckily, you know, I didn't hit rock bottom when I closed my first business. Immediately I was like, all right, what's the next thing? And what I did was I tapped into my network, and I reached out to yeah, to just people, and happened to stumble into, you know, admin freelance opportunities. And that really helped give me sort of this career break for about a year and a half, that helped me, you know, that gave me the time to explore other career opportunities. Yeah, and without sort of that break, I don't think I would be where I am now. And so yeah, I'm really appreciative of the network over that decade.
I love it. Okay, so this is just for fun. I do a 5-word game. I'll say a word, whatever first thing that comes to your mind, you say it. We go back and forth for 5 words. Food,
Is
life,
and
death,
oh, so profound.
um, love,
I don't want to say the same thing as the last one. Carries
my heart.
into
Life. Again.
awesome.
That was fun. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for sharing your business. Is there anything that we did not go over that you like to share, that you like to talk about, that I didn't bring up?
No, I think we covered everything. Just, yeah, if folks want to get in touch with me, I'm very easy to find. Sandra Nomoto is my
You have a
website. And
cool name.
oh, thank you. Thank my husband. My husband gave me that last name. Yeah, and I'm everywhere on social media too. You can find me very easily with my name.
Thank you, Sandra. I will be contacting you soon. But what time is it there?
Just past 3.
Oh, same time. So you
Oh
have a
yeah.
good afternoon, evening, night. But
Thanks. You
thank
too, Erin.
you. It was so nice talking to you.
Yeah, this was so much fun.
Bye
Likewise.
bye.
Bye.
Episode 20. Did I say 25? 20? No, 26. Episode 26. Another example of another business owner out here figuring things out. I love the fact that she was able to get innovative and, I guess, transform her business idea to what it is. And she's still doing it, and she enjoys it. And she made I don't know if I would call it a product, but she created something out of a passion that she has, which is what I always say, like our business is just another extension of us. These are things that we love, that we're passionate about. And we figure out a way to make money doing it. We figure out a way to make a living doing it. We figure out a way to bring it into our lives, and place it in the position of work. And sometimes it's not that. Sometimes we're doing it part-time. We're doing it after work. We're doing it on the weekends. It's so many different ways to do this thing and to work this out. There's so many ways to do it, but do it. Just do it. Get the thing done. Figure out a way to, whatever idea you have, figure out a way to present it in a business manner and show up for your business. Don't forget to thank God for your blessings. Don't forget to say your prayers. Don't forget to take care of your skin. If you are on whatever platform you are on, subscribe, follow. If you are a business owner, I would love to talk to you. I would love to hear your story. I would love to share whatever it is that you have going on in hopes to inspire the next person that is listening, that has the goal, that has a plan to do the thing, but they're just scared to do it. Contact me and we'll get you on here to share your story. I will be back. I have one more interview this evening at 6. So I will see you later. Bye.